5-3, the final home game of the season, and it's crunch time at Loftus Road. Fulham must beat Everton to ensure Premiership survival. With Everton vying for a UEFA Cup spot, both teams have everything to play for this afternoon, and the tension is palpable as the teams leave their respective dressing rooms and assemble in the tunnel.
Come on, lads!
Forward to Barmorte, still Louis Barmorte. Now Steve Malbronk, can Fulham carve something out of this break? Plays it nicely into path of Barmorte, and it's almost an own goal. Sean Davis is making a run. It's a clever touch from Sean Davis, and poor old Alan Stubbs lofts it into his own goal at the school end. Always such a troublesome bag of spanners for defenders to deal with, and he's been upended by Hibbert before another free kick. A fortunate one for once. Steve Malbronk with the Fulham free kick then. Drills it goals, has nearly slipped through, has it, and it's a goal! Steve Malbronk with his 14th of the season, and it's another fortunate one for Fulham. They're 2 goals to the good, 4 minutes from the break. Just creeping over Richard Wright's line, and Richard Wright was unable to deal with that in the near post, and that's blatantly over the line.
After the first 45, it's all going to plan for Fulham, but Everton's Richard Wright is feeling the pressure. Still furiously contesting the second of 2 soft goals, Wright's protests continue into the tunnel, but referee Barber is unmoved.
I'm giving you the chance.
Fulham have had the better of the game, but Everton are still far from beaten. Despite the 2-goal cushion, Coleman's men know they must retain their concentration and focus in the second half. The next 45 will be crucial.
We're underway then. Still Clark, right football towards Elvis Hammond. It's a good one. Hammond's able to glance it into the path of Steve Malbronk. Fillon's coming up in support. Still Steve Malbronk though. Malbronk's left foot shot nearly falls to Elvis Hammond, but good keeping from Richard Wright. Lee Clark. Again another chance of a break. Barmorte combining with Hammond. Barmorte. Malbronk's in the centre. Is he going to go it alone? Louis Barmorte! Oh, cannons off the side netting. Davis clears to Louis Saha, who's up against Pistoni. Barmorte in an excellent position on the left as Unsworth gets back. Still Louis Saha though for Fulham. Right foot shot from Saha. Flashes across Richard Wright's goal. Now Lee Clark. Over the head of Hales to Saha. Hales. Inside to Louis Saha, tries his luck from distance. Louis Saha! Great save for Richard Wright. Play for 1-2, drawn 1, lost 1. Admirable managerial baptism for Chris Coleman. And there is the final whistle. Fulham's home form, home games end on a winning note. Fulham 2, Everton 1.
After a nerve-wracking few weeks, Fulham are mathematically safe from relegation, and top-flight football is once again secured. Caretaker manager Chris Coleman has achieved what he was brought in to do 4 games ago, and in just under a fortnight's time he'll be named as the man to guide Fulham through his 3rd successive Premiership campaign, this time as the club's new full-time manager. But this is the story of Fulham's 2nd Premiership season, a season where survival was the name of the game. The 2002-2003 season involved a staggering 58 games, played in 5 different competitions over a gruelling 10 months. With the majority of their Premiership peers still soaking up the summer sun, Fulham's marathon campaign kicked off in early July with what was to become a victorious Intertoto Cup debut.
Fed right back to Zat Knight at the heart of the Fulham defence, and they start again down the other side through Finnan. Inamoto slides it on Sava. Inamoto, great football! Oh, what a super goal! A brilliant goal by Fulham. And after the struggles they had staying in the Premiership last season, Fulham have begun this campaign in sparkling form. A lovely interchange of passes between Inamoto, the Japanese World Cup player, and Facundo Sava, the Argentinian. Bologna continuing to do better. Oh, they have equalised, and you'd have to say that maybe Van der Sar was a little bit slow to get down to that. Zaccardo for Bologna, cut out by Sean Davis. Sahar heads it down for Boamorte, whose pace was a feature of the first half, and he just ghosts past the first challenger. Here's Sean Davis onto Marley, who couldn't pull it down. Inamoto! Oh, Inamoto! What a strike! You just wonder why Inamoto never got his chance at Highbury. Scores Fulham's 2nd goal in the 1st minute of the 2nd half. Here's Boamorte, whose pace has tormented Bologna down that left side. He gets it into the middle. Marley, Lekvinski, Inamoto completes a hat-trick. Well, Junichi Inamoto scored goals in the World Cup against Belgium and Russia. He was Japan's hero during their World Cup campaign, and he's Fulham's hero tonight. Good back header that's picked up by Van der Sar, and the referee checks his watch. And that's it. Fulham's season began in midsummer, but it's worth it. Inamoto's hat-trick tonight has confirmed that Fulham have won the Intertoto Cup final, and they're into the UEFA Cup for the first time in their history.
After a record-breaking European debut by a British side, by the time the Premiership season kicked off in August 17, Fulham were already a well-oiled machine, riding high on the crest of a European wave, and went top of the Premiership after the opening league game at Loftus Road.
So everyone in their seats at Loftus Road for Fulham's 1st game at their new venue. It didn't exactly start off going to plan.
And Fulham are responding very positively. Louis Sahar, he's brought down. Is that a penalty? It is! It's Bergson who's brought him down, and incredibly, within 10 minutes, we have 2 penalties here at Loftus Road. Well, Louis Sahar had gone round the outside of Bergson, and the referee had no hesitation at all that time either. Little flick of the heel from Bergson first time. He was nowhere near the ball. Louis Saha entrusted with scoring Fulham's equaliser, which he does. Two goals, two penalties, 10 minutes played. Well, it was well struck. Jääskeläinen guessed correctly, but Saha with his eyes firmly focused on the ball. Davis, Legwinski. Poked on by Finnan, lovely play, Legwinski, can he finish it? Yes he can, and that was simply glorious. Fulham's traditions of style and flair, perfectly finished, perfectly executed. A three-man move, and as Ngotti was taken out of it, Legwinski sidestepping his man, pulling it inside Ngotti, and then stroking it underneath Jääskeläinen. That's a brilliant finish. And that really is what flowing, passing football is all about. Another of the Bolton newcomers, Akin Bülent, the Turkish midfield player, unable to play after a knee operation. He's still recovering. And here come Fulham, and they've got a wave of white shirts probing into that Bolton half. Boumorte going down, it's another penalty. Would you believe it? And Mondi puts his head in his hands. The third penalty of the afternoon already. This time, Steve Marley with a chance to register his first goal. It's 3-1. Steve Marley sending Jääskeläinen to his right. And again, a sharp intake of breath from Marley, punching the air in delight. Boumorte up against Ngotti. Branson only serves to provide it for Inamoto. Great ball in, Marley's header, Saba's up for it. It's come back out here, Legwinski! Oh yes! This man knows how to score an absolute beauty. 2 goals from Legwinski today, 2 goals crafted in different fashion, but 2 ultimately fashioned from brilliant individual skill. Bolton couldn't clear their lines. Legwinski, head down, head over the ball, drilled it into the bottom corner, and Bolton are dead and buried now.
Ball for it from Stockdale. Played quickly towards Macaroni by Jonathan Greening. Hesitation by Melville. A real gift for the young Italian, who makes no mistake from inside the box. Good work again from Greening. Quick ball into the box, and Macaroni's ahead of Rufus Brevitt for Borough's second. Legwinski for Fulham. John Tigana's side still pressing in the dying embers of this game. Ball's now with Brevitt. Boumorte. Brevitt again is a useful first-time cross, and it falls for Sean Davis. A combination between Messrs Boumorte and Brevitt, and it's his first-time cross that caused confusion in the Borough box, and Sean Davis mops up ever so well. Fulham now with the wind in their sails. Cross from Finnan. Louis Saha. Terrible defending. Facundo Sava! Dances a samba in front of the travelling fans. The Argentinian's first goal in English football. And Fulham somehow have a point. Keystone Cops defending really from Middlesbrough, and Facundo Sava, the benefactor,
Darren Moore's there, and second bite of the cherry, squeezes in betwixt Post and Edwin van der Sar, and the Baggies are in front. Fulham keeper perhaps at fault.
The season had kicked off to a somewhat mixed start. A convincing win against Bolton, a Houdini-esque escape at Borough, and a disappointing defeat at the Hawthorns. But September was to prove a far more successful month all round, and included 2 London derbies along with a successful trip to Croatia for good measure.
A goal for Dean Richards, the height of Tottenham pays off. And now Fulham might debate even more whether or not it should have been a corner. Tigana, who at times has complained about the physical nature of the Premiership. His side have got to match Tottenham's strength as well as their skill. Here's Etherington. Sheringham! 2 minutes to go to half-time. It's 2-0 Tottenham. Thatcher. Sean Davis. Oh, and Intertoto's backing it up, and he scored! Oh, now it's very much game on here. That's no more than Fulham deserve. They have upped it in the second half. And the Japanese midfield player, a bit part player at best at Arsenal, is making himself centre stage here with Fulham to add to his Intertoto Cup goals. Here's a goal in the Premiership for Junichi Inamoto. And it's Fulham 1, Tottenham 2. Just a little bit hard for Fulham to rekindle the spirit straight away that they were showing after a lengthy stoppage. Hales. Awkward bounce for Gardner. He's got a problem. Hales goes down. No, says Mark Halsall. And a lot of the players were wondering and waiting, and then the assistants got involved here as well. And Mark Halsey has gone across to get a second opinion. He's given the penalty. And up steps Steed Malbrook. Well, an extraordinary episode, and it could stop Tottenham going back to the top of the table tonight. Malbrook, and Keller went the right way but couldn't keep it out. It's 2-2, and Fulham are out to show that they're not finished yet. Great penalty in the circumstances, pressure kick, and Malbrook was certainly up to the challenge. Well, Tottenham might have their say about whether or not it should have been a penalty, but the fact is they've been all over the place in these closing stages. Legwinski! And Tottenham are surely beaten. What a revival in the second half by Fulham. 2-0 down, but certainly not out. Spurs have been rent asunder by the skill and the will of Jean Tigana's team. Sava, Legwinski, goal! Fulham in front for the first time, deep into stoppage time. A sensational second half.
Just Fulham's second visit to the Stadium of Light. Impressive stadium. Rayner ball juggling in his own half. Bronk finds Brevitt, first time cross, skins off the head of Barry Hales, and superb execution from Junichi Inamoto. Fulham ahead with a well-crafted goal into the path of the young Japanese midfielder that's made such an impact in the opening months of the season. And he really finished in some style. An air of discontent hovering around the Stadium of Light. It's a poor kick out from Sorensen. This time Inamoto turns provider. Barry Hales holding off the challenge of Bright and slotting it home. Fulham now 2 goals to the good. And the boos ringing round this stadium. Relatively easy for Fulham, who are surely en route to their first away Premiership success of the season. Barry Hales showing all his strength to finish superbly. Sunderland with it all to do then. Zap Knight nodding clear for Fulham, who have another chance of a break. Again Inamoto the provider, this time Steve Marley scampering after it and finishes superbly. It's surely all over for Sunderland now, and the travelling faithful enjoying this one. Lichi Inamoto a hand in all 3 goals, and Steve Marley putting the icing on a quite wonderful away day for Fulham Football Club. Here's the Carsley. Somewhat industrial challenge from Pierre Wome. He's swung in by Pembridge. Campbell's in there, and Fulham are behind at the worst possible time just before the break. Kevin Campbell, the scorer. And things again not going according to plan at the moment. Unsworth. Forward by Pembridge. Nice ball into the path of Gravison, who finishes superbly. The manic-looking Dane, delighted with a rare goal.
By the end of September, Fulham was still unbeaten at Loftus Road. From the 12 points on offer that month, 7 were on board, and we were a goal to the good going into the second leg of the UEFA Cup first round at home to Hajduk Split.
The job, I enjoy it very, very much. Better not tell the directors because they want to cut my money. It's a fantastic place to work. Great fun. It's almost not like work. I get up in the morning and I can't wait to come to work. Come on, morning. I assume there'll be no naked staff in here, but you never know. Top secret code. Here we are, a rather smelly staff changing room. A bit deserted as you know, some of the staff have recently left us. I've moved this guy out. This guy in. Hello.
I need 10 shots, please, for the end of this month. And we only need 5.
We need 1, yeah?
Please. I need
can't get Steve's things because he's put them down now.
Yeah, I need 10 because I have some
Always
friends,
looking
you know?
for the line, man. The kid's got a thing on as well.
Oh, it's shocking, shocking.
Kick, man, getting the Premier.
Thanks, Sean, I love you too. I really love you too. Most evenings I'll pop into the sauna there. Don't tell the physio though. Here's Les again, dirtybirds.com. Just checking his wife's okay. Oh, come on, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Are you there? Let Marley pretended he can read. Nearly finished your colouring book, Steve? Get a close-up of Abdes. I'm sure it's all right. Jason with his sleeves rolled up. Anything to say, Ed? Any abuse? Good boy. Ina? Hello? You okay? You okay? Yeah. Fantastic. And this is one of the footballs we use for shooting practice for Barry. Hasn't really worked. Maybe let Steve have a go as well later in the season. Okay, any more touch now? Doctor pretend. Anything to say to the cameras up? I do work very hard, myself and Mini-Me, my assistant. Put in lots of hours, but it's worth it. Right, let's stick our head out here because earlier on today, just started getting stuff ready. Steve Keane in the distance there, marathon man. Just setting up his training session. Basic equipment for training during the day. We pump the footballs up to the same pressure as the match balls. A little bit tedious, but it has to be done. So, it's not really a job. Is there it's not as well paid as Yeah, it's done. Don't you think he looks like Kenny Everett?
Ligvinsky, Marley, Davis and Malbronk making up the Fulham wall. It's a firmly struck left foot shot that cannons off Davis, I think. And Split have the early goal and the away goal, more importantly, that they craved. Uyeba Morte. Inside to Steve Malbronk, lovely ball through to Facundo Sava, and it's going to fall for Marley. Fulham back on level terms on 20 minutes. 2-1 ahead on aggregate. Typical Malbronk ball, and easy for Steve Marley. Facundo Sava also involved. It's 1-1. Sarevic with the corner for Hajduk Split. And it's a free header. Scorer was Vecic, the number 7. Forward from Rufus Brevitt. Malbronk, lovely first time ball into the path of Steve Marley, who's brought down. Penalty kick for Fulham. And the Whites with an excellent chance to level things up on the night. And that record continues. Fine finish from the young Frenchman, who has to take that spot kick again. Nerve jangling stuff just before the break here at Loftus Road. Steve Malbronk ordered to take the spot kick again, which he does so. Wastes no time, and it's 2-2. Another fine finish from the young Frenchman. No mistake. Nice crossfield ball from Steve Malbronk. Rufus Brevitt's on the near touchline. Boa Morte cuts inside, feeds Steve Malbronk, who tries his luck from long range. Facundo Sava! And are we going to see the first sight of these famous masked celebrations? We are indeed. Facundo Sava's second Premiership goal for Fulham. Caps some excellent early pressure from the Whites. Morte cutting inside, feeding Malbronk, and his long-range effort too much for Kylie. And there was Facundo Sava to fire home.
Well won by Legwinski, taken up by Sava. Here comes Malbronk. Davis, Brevitt. Rufus Brevitt, Sava let it go. Marley came in at the back, and Fulham lead. off the back of a dream international week, has brought his form home to Fulham. Brerett's delivery bounced uncomfortably. Salah couldn't connect. Marley could. And the Cottagers' excellent form away from the Cottage continues. Blanc couldn't read it, Barthez hadn't come, Silvestre got a bit of it, but Marley got the bit that counted.
Oh, and Defoe, brilliant stuff from Jermaine Defoe. It's a penalty. West Ham given a penalty and a red card for Zat Knight. The last defender. Fulham down to 10 men and now facing a penalty. Jermaine Defoe with such quick feet there, and the two England under-21 colleagues coming to blows. Will Di Canio try one of his tricks? Di Canio. Simply joyous for Paolo Di Canio. And West Ham, as they did at the start of April, threaten to win away on Fulham soil.
Svensson under pressure, loses out to Lee Clark. Good shot, and the deflection takes it in. Well, would you believe it?
It doesn't look as if there's any danger. There you can see Svensson tries to really be too neat and nimble on the edge of the box, and that takes a wicked deflection. As you've said, Van der Sar, such a presence, isn't he?
Here's Finnan. That's a great little layoff. Marley. Back it goes to Finnan. Oh, dangerous ball! They were absolutely asleep. And Malbronk has punished Southampton's sloppy defending with Fulham's second goal. What were they doing, though, in the Southampton rearguard?
Well, it's good build-up. There you can see Marley can't play it in the box because there's no one there. Finnan does brilliantly here, you know. He has Marsden around him, but once again, so much indecision. 4-2. They've done that fairly effectively, really limited Southampton.
Here's a possibility now. Was that handball? Yes. They're not going to get away with it a second time. What an eventful 25 minutes we're having. Huge presence in that Fulham goal, though. But he's beaten him. Fernandez. Far post BD. Brilliant Southampton goal, and they're level just before half-time. Good skill as well, and then a foul. Could well be a yellow card, I suspect. Gundogan's got away from his man here, and it's closed in by BD! The hat-trick, the first of his career, and Southampton from 2-0 down, lead 3-2. Craven beaten by Fernandez. Oh, brilliant play by Fabrice Fernandez. 4 against 4 here. Marsden and Orra. 4-2. What a day for the Saints.
Free kick, hard driven, dangerous. They've been very solid defensively. Oh, now there's some pace here. Let's see if he can get all the way. Oh, now that has to be a booking. That surely has to be a booking for Polivarnic. The pace of Lewis Boa-Morte will always be a problem for defenders. If he'd been another 20 yards on, it would have definitely been a red. It is a red. It is a red. Well, I can't say I'm totally surprised.
Well, it was great pace by Boa-Morte in the first place, John. He slipped one defender and then he said, right, I'm just going to stick it past the next one and run you. He just pulled him down, and that's so cynical that I believe maybe it's justified a red card there.
That was a hint of danger, though, from the pace of Orlick. Let's see what happens now as Fulham bounce back to the other end with Bo Morty. I'm feeling there might be a goal here any minute now, and this might just be it. Luis Bo Morty! That went over the line. It's a goal for Fulham. They lead. Luis Bo Morty's pace did the trick. Oh, he can do the handstands now. I said a goal was coming. I think I read it right. It's 1-0 Fulham.
And he's passed it there, he's followed the ball, and he's got the return ball in the end as Marley passed it out to Melbronk. It's that ball behind the defence and in front of the goalkeeper again, and it's, well, superbly taken. He's just taking it around the goalkeeper. It's on his right side, his left side, and Boutina was left stranded. It's a super take from Luis Bo Morty, and Fulham deserved to be one up.
Finnan. Oh, lovely touch from Steve Finnan. Inamoto into the action straight on. Onside, Steve Marley. Surely 2-0 Fulham. And who knows, they could well be on their way into the next round of the UEFA Cup already.
Well, 10 men or no 10 men, it's awful defending again, really square. Marley gets in behind. Great first little bit of action for Junichi Inamoto. He held on to the ball that fraction of a second longer, just waited for it to happen. And there was one defender coming running out right at the last moment. It played Steve Marley onside. But of course, John, you've still got to finish. Open his body up lovely. Beat the keeper quite easily, didn't he? Boutina didn't really have any chance. Nice bit of composure, and well, they can wrap this up tonight now.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a wild time in the old town tonight. For those who are staying on. Oh, great hustling again from Legwinski, and it's gone through. Stolchers hails through the centre. Stolchers can make real ground here. Needs to find Barry Hales. That's it. It's 3-0, and Barry Hales has driven Fulham into what may well be an unassailable advantage in the UEFA Cup here in Zagreb. Perfectly laid on by Stolchers, perfectly finished by Hales. It's been a striker's dream, this match, and it's 3-0 Fulham.
Well, it's hopeless defending again. There's pace from Stolchers on the left-hand side as he's gone down. Now, this is the position he likes. He just made a hash of that first cross, but this one is laid on for Barry Hales, and you'd like one of them again. You'd be scoring 40 a season, wouldn't you? But it's a lovely one for Barry. Good luck to Barry Hales. Well-played Stolchers coming on, and it's fast turning into a perfect away performance.
Man United's fortuitous draw, Di Canio's penalty in the dying minutes, throwing away a 2-0 lead at St Mary's. Away from Europe, October had been a frustrating month for Fulham, and in the opening game of November it seemed as though the misfortune was still lingering.
Malbronk, and here's Steve Finnan! Unlikely player in an unlikely position. Fulham have come very close to scoring 2 or 3 times. Malbronk, oh, Seaman was nearly caught out again! And here's Bo Morty. Taking it around Pascal Sigor, and then was he bowled over? Referee says no penalty. It was certainly a robust challenge by Sol Campbell, and many would say that was illegal. Lucky chap. Fulham so far, more than a match for Arsenal. Bo Morty. Referee again says no. Well, Morty still limping after the challenge right on the edge of the penalty area. Again, it was Sol Campbell involved. Well, that looks suspiciously like another penalty. Dreadful own goal as well. And Steve Marley, who's used to scoring at the right end, took a wild swing, got an outside edge.
Goal back. Again forced back by a phalanx of black shirts. Melville forward to Hales. Slip from Dunfield, and it's going to fall for Stolchers. Right foot, Andre Stolchers! A neat pass and move, and the ball falling for Andre Stolchers to notch his first goal of the season. Rome wrestles possession for Fulham and finds Clark, who punts it towards the goal scorer, Andrei Stolchus. Still Stolchus into the Bury box, takes it on his right foot. Oh, what a fine finish. Andrei Stolchus grabs the second goal of the evening, his fourth in his brief Fulham career, and what an absolute corker. Long ball from Andy Melville. It's going to fall for Lee Clark, who's going to nod it into an empty net. And Fulham now home and dry at 3-0. Lee Clark happily nodding into an empty net for his second goal in 3 games since making a return from that lengthy layoff with an injury. Wadu for Fulham, but John Newby's here for Bury, their top scorer, and he notches well at the school end. Ian Taylor's in a good position on the edge of the box. It's a fine effort and an even better save from Edwin van der Sar. Ian Taylor rightly puts his head in his hands. Van der Sar checks it, and Pablo Angel stooping to nod past the Dutchman. Very long kick indeed by Edwin van der Sar. Lovely little back heel from Boamorte. Steve Finnan tries his luck from distance and it falls into the path of Boamorte again. He held off Staunton superbly and Fulham are level. Louis Boamorte with a fine finish, galvanising the away support. Fortuitous the way it fell into his path, but he did hold off Steve Staunton ever so well, and it was a neat finish from Louis Boamorte, who's sometimes criticised for that side of his game. 1-1. Lofted forward into the path of Gareth Barry. Cross towards Leonardson, leaves it for Allback. And Aston Villa, against the run of play, are ahead. Fulham have men committed forward here. Chance of a break for Villa. Jay Lloyd-Samuel taking the ball neatly down that left-hand side. Long cross to the back stick from Barry. Gonna fall to Leonardson.
Olic waits for the ball in the middle, being watched closely by Andy Melville at the moment. This is good play by Dinamo. Olic still wants it. Kranjčar doesn't want to use him. Blocked by Gomar. Decent looking cross! And they're back in the tie. Krishna, Agic, Goldbeck. Away from Agic. Great play by Goldbeck. Excellent chance now for Malbrook. And if they weren't already, Fulham are now through to the next round of the UEFA Cup. 2 minutes to go. Steve Malbrook finally gives the home crowd something to cheer about. Good play by Bjarne Goldbeck. A pinpoint slide rule pass. Malbrook kept his head. Turina committed himself to squeeze the ball home. Just the final few seconds of the match. Jetu getting the ball away. This is Malbrook, man whose goal has brought parity in this particular leg. Good, strong running by Malbrook. Excellent chance for the home victory for Luis Boamorte! And it's the grand finale in the final few seconds of added time. Fulham win the match. Fulham had already won the tie. Again, it's Malbrook who has made the difference for Fulham since coming on as a substitute. Luis Boamorte almost had too much time. Having missed chances earlier in the game, you would wonder about Boamorte's confidence, but that would be mistaken. He took this chance, supremely well, and it was virtually the last kick of the match.
Stan Lazaridis whipped it in. Oh, and it was a handball on the line, I think. And Rufus Privet is going to be off, and it's going to be a penalty. Some save, Rufus, but you're not allowed to do it. And Fulham are down to 10 men. It was Percy's header that flashed across. Darren Pearce made contact, and Privet stuck an arm out. It's a red card for Rufus. It's a penalty. Stern John gets focused on the job. Oh, Stern John's penalty save! And Horsfield can't follow up. And Fulham have got away with that.
And as far as Rufus Brevitt. Diao, here's Malbronk again, and now Marley. Malbronk once more, and the more he sees of the ball, the more Fulham will press, and Davis fancies his chances today, and Dudek has let it slip, and Saba has scored! The man with the mask! Another goal means another face of Facundo Saba. The undoing of the Liverpool defence is followed by the unveiling of what? We'll have to wait and see. The mask has disappeared into the crowd, and I bet that is where Jerzy Dudek wishes he could go, because that's his second handling error in the opening moments, and this one is fatal. Saba tucks away his third Fulham goal, but we may never know exactly what he had down his sock, because I think it now belongs to somebody behind that goal. Once more. Improvised ingenuity. Davis had another crack, he scored! Sean Davis doubles Fulham's lead. It was his shot from range which brought about the opening goal, and this time, with the help of a deflection, he finds the back of Jerzy Dudek's net. May just have come off one of his own players, I think. And it may be that Facundo Saba will claim another goal. Skipper Hertha has just had a word with Didi Harman, who looks likely to take the free kick. Maybe asking for it to be lofted in towards him. Hertha instead has taken up station in the Fulham wall now. It is Harman, it's found a way through and almost burst the net. Marley. A little isolated out there. Eski. Saba to Jetu. Now Marley. It's Davis who's looking for it down the centre. He's been pulled down, hit by Saba! Facundo Saba makes it 3-1 for Fulham. No costume to celebrate his goal, but the smile tells its own story. A superb hit by Facundo Saba re-establishes Fulham's 2-goal advantage, and Dudek had no chance with that one. And it was Davis who was forward, causing problems for Liverpool again. And it's Saba who scores against them again. He may yet eventually claim a hat-trick, but he certainly has two, and Fulham certainly have three. Getting a little heated now. Owen and Gomar involved. Gomar has just been yellow carded, and a second yellow card adds up to a dismissal for Alain Gomar. Brevitt. Malbronk. Marley. Fast feet, winning the free kick. Carragher accepting the decision. He'll have another go. Oh! Oh, what a fabulous return it's been for Sean Davis. It's reached Baros. Milan Baros. Liverpool have another 5 minutes.
And Hertha Berlin have a corner kick. It's the in-swinger, and they've got their goal as well. And the man who's got it is Stefan Feinlich. Fulham are caught absolutely cold here by Feinlich's header from almost beneath the crossbar.
There you go, Fulham again coming away from building site plot 8 on our left-hand side. Just beneath the crane.
Oh, that's a good turn from Malbronk. Needs to finish here. Malbronk, curling ball in, header, chance, off the inside, has to be a goal for Steve Marley. Has to be a goal, and that was so well done. I think the header at the far side was Jetu, but it is Marley who has got the decisive goal here for Fulham, his 5th in the UEFA Cup, and here it is. Malbronk had done so well. It was Jetu who'd got forward there. The goalkeeper was so slow to react, and Steve Marley, he's not going to miss from there.
Yeah, what Fulham don't want is, having got back level, they don't want to lose the initiative in this game, because they definitely had it in the early part of the half.
Marcelinho, low, dangerous, on and own goal! Oh, what a tragedy, what a disaster here. And would you believe it? He's rocketed it into his own net, and Hertha Berlin have the lead back from a very unlikely source.
Blackburn maintaining a real head of steam in this first half. Played through to Duff, inside to Dwight York. Blackburn's opening goal somewhat inevitable. Played forward to Steve Marley. Great chances for the Frenchman. He took his time but finished superbly, and Fulham deservedly level. It's taken some stick, Steve Marley. No doubt about the finishing there. Really had it all to do. And eventually slotting it past Neil. Now it's Fulham with a scent of victory in their nostrils as Louis Barmorte advances into the box, and surely that's a pen. Referee Mr. Dowd in no doubt whatsoever as Steve Marley steps up to take the penalty. Brad Friedel's been in fine form between the sticks for Blackburn. This game no exception. Marley against Friedel, who saves! Ewan Parker ups. Advantage Blackburn. Through to Duff, first time cross. Headers from York, who puts Blackburn Rovers ahead via the unfortunate Rufus Brevitt. Wretched luck for Fulham.
November have been tough with only 4 points from a possible 15. However, the fact that 3 of those came against the mighty Liverpool was still some consolation. Still in Europe, Tigana's men were starting to feel the effects of the punishing schedule, and nobody shed too many tears when we exited the Worthington Cup in the first game of December.
Really taken a leaf out of Fulham's books this evening, and it's played forward to Ellington again. Wadu and Knight saying after you, and Ellington says thank you very much. Just 4 minutes remaining then. An increasingly impossible task it would seem for Fulham, who face humiliation here in the northwest. Forward by Clark to Boamorte. Is he going to squeeze it home? He does. Fulham have a hope with just 4 minutes remaining. Louis Boamorte with a splendid finish.
And again, Pierre Wome with this corner for Fulham. 0-0, 10 minutes gone here at Loftus Road, but Fulham having the better of it. Dangerous one from Wome, and there is Martin Jetu his first Fulham goal. Glanced home at the school end on 10 minutes and Fulham are ahead. Pierre Wome's delivery pinpoint perfect, and Martin Jesu ahead of Robinson to glance Fulham into the lead.
A great atmosphere. Davis with a shot that nearly got through, and the second one that nearly got through. Davis trying to stay down. Marley on the run. Nene staying with him, and Morte. Well, it was a moment in the move that really typified the pace this game has started at.
First ball came through here, just onside. I think the linesman's done the right thing there. He's got past his man. He's done brilliant here. He hasn't just whacked it across. He's waited, clipped it back, and it's just slightly mishit by Morte. It's a wonderful chance. Let's have a look at it here. You can see it's just probably caught the end of his toe as opposed to flush on the side foot. And I wonder will they rue that chance later on.
Good combination in the box, and a fantastic goal. Birmingham are ahead. It's that man Karofsky. He's looked dangerous early on, and he's given Birmingham the lead on 6 minutes. Morte hooks it towards Legwinski. Callum Willett now for Fulham, the substitute. Strong challenge from Darren Purse, who's been booked and is going to walk. Second bookable offence for Darren Purse, who walks on 69 minutes for an over-the-top challenge on Callum Willock. So Birmingham City down to 10 men.
Alain Goma still being roundly booed by the St James's Park crowd. Van der Sar playing some football in his own box, rather too much football. Solano's lob. Newcastle have the lead entirely of Edwin van der Sar's making, really. Ball forward towards Bellamy. Sean Davis. Davis trying to make amends, but he's played it inadvertently into the path of young Bellamy again, who makes it look easy. Lovely left foot finish from Craig Bellamy. Steve Finnan for Fulham. Steve Malbronk. Finnan was making a run on the overlap, but Fulham still have possession. Steve Marlow. Finnan again. Marlow. Neat little ball into the path of Steve Finnan once more, and Facundo Sava finishes. Reaches into his sock for that trademark mask and salutes the travelling fans. A neatly worked goal. Finnan, Malbronk and Marley involved, and then Facundo Sava. An emphatic finish. Carrick with the corner for West Ham. Trying to clear there. Looks like a handball from Sylvain Legwinski. Look more of a ball to hand than the other way around, and Legwinski's also being booked to add further humiliation to what looked like a very dubious decision. Nevertheless, the Hammers have a spot kick. Sinclair against Taylor. Right foot, 1-1. Chance of a break here for City. Sean White-Phillips bringing it forward. Nicholas Anelka to his left. Runs in with a neat ball. Anelka, left foot shot. Angles past Taylor. And Nicholas Anelka proves what a quality striker he is.
By the end of the year, they were queuing up to get into the Fulham medical room. Out of Europe after an admirable 6-month adventure, Fulham's league form was suffering badly. But the opening game of 2003 allowed Tigana's men the opportunity to exercise a few demons.
As far as injuries go this season, I guess we've had a fairly mixed season with probably the volume of injuries we've had hasn't been huge, but some of the injuries we've had have been quite substantial. When you look at some players like Barry Hales, who, as a result of a degenerative disc in his neck, which means one of the actual discs in between the vertebrae had worn down over time, and it's like an arthritic joint. But it got to the point where he was getting pressure of that disc on the nerves in his back, which was giving him constant pain down in his arm. So as a result, he had surgery where they came in through the front, they removed that disc, and then had to put a brace between the two vertebrae, put some bone in between, so they had to pack the joint with bone, and that kept him out for a number of months. As you would obviously realise, it's a very important area of your neck and a very fragile area, and with the pressure, the balls coming down from a great height and they have to head them, it had to be right up to scratch as far as his strength and control. But he's got back into playing now, and he's fantastic, so we had a fantastic result with that. And that was an unfortunate injury that just resulted from wear and tear. Other significant injuries that kept players out for a long period of time, Louis Saha's hamstring. Louis had a tear in his hamstring, but it wasn't a normal tear within the muscle itself. It occurred in between muscles, and there was bleeding in between muscles, which as a result the healing process was dramatically slowed, and he kept getting leaking of blood in this area, so it wouldn't heal up as a normal hamstring would. The fluid collection drained a number of times, and thankfully we've got an ultrasound, diagnostic ultrasound machine here, so we could have monitored the way the healing was going, and it kept him out for a longer period of time than a standard hamstring would. The option would be having surgery or not having surgery. You will always try and avoid surgery if you can, but in the end he ended up having surgery on his hamstring to actually make sure that the problem didn't come back, and he's obviously back into full training and playing now, and contributed to a large part of the second half of the season. Edwin van der Sar had an unlucky collision between himself and Alan Shearer when we played Newcastle, and he ended up fracturing one of the bones in his feet. And one of the problems of that is they're bones that tend to heal slowly, and they don't tend to heal in the precise way you'd like. So you have to be very cautious and careful in monitoring how the healing goes. So that kept him out for a number of months, particularly in the second half of the season. But thankfully he's back into full training and fully recovered now. And we were also very lucky, I guess, that Mike Taylor stepped up and got through without any injury problems through that period of time as well. So it's worked out well in that respect. Lee Clark was another one who had some problems with his calves. At the end of last season, Lee ended up having to have surgery on one of his calves to remove a fluid collection similar to Louis Saha. It was a fluid collection within the muscle area which wasn't healing properly. As a result, he was getting ongoing problems. He had surgery to heal that. Then during this season, he had another calf problem, but with the opposite calf. And we were very mindful of the problems he'd had previously, so we made sure we were very careful and cautious in the way we managed that, and thankfully we were, because it was following in the same direction. Had it have not been managed, I guess, with the knowledge of his previous problem, then it may well have been that he'd ended up going down the same road again with having surgery on that. I mean, it's not a particular problem with Clarkey at all, it's just the way his makeup is, and we don't expect to have any more problems with the area at all, but it was something that obviously kept him out for a while, which frustrated him, particularly after having problems late in last season. So he'd been sort of in and out over a period of time, but now thankfully he's back, and he's been playing some great games, back to full playing without any problem at all. We've had minor bumps and bruises and muscle tears and strains, as you do and you'd expect from a normal season. Some players have broken a rib, which has kept them out for a period of time. Some people have done minor ligamentous injuries, but I guess by and large they're the most significant ones that have caused this problem. As far as facilities goes, I must admit I'm very lucky working here at Fulham, as are the staff. We've got quite an extensive staff with 3 doctors working here. We have an osteopath, 4 physios, massage therapists, as well as we use a lot of other consultants, foot consultants, various orthopaedic specialists. but the facilities here are fantastic as well. The chairman has been very great in spending some money here and getting us some fantastic devices like a Cybex machine and a Biodex machine, which are technical names for machines that help us in terms of diagnosing problems, but also in retraining people as they get back. It gives us a clearer idea about exactly how a person's doing, and we can be very specific in how we train them. But also, you look at the gym itself is very well equipped. The medical room that we have here is fantastic in terms of the space we have, the equipment we have. And I think in seeing some of the setups at other premiership clubs too, we're certainly up there in terms of the type of medical cover we can provide and the facilities we have, which is fantastic.
Stern John, the goal scorer on that day, and he's on the bench returning from injury for City this afternoon. Malbronk challenges. Davis, Malbronk again. Darts into a little bit of space. He's got Sava to his left. Facundo Sava, left foot shot. 1-0 Fulham. Facundo Sava's 6th goal of the season. Zorro strikes again. It was a neat flowing move initiated by Steve Malbronk. Caught in the relegation mire come the spring. Steve Finnan clips it towards Legwinski, who's holding the challenge of Savage off well. Goldbeck darts into space, right foot shot, lovely goal from Bjarni Goldbeck. How much do the crowd appreciate that? Lovely bit of football from Bjarni Goldbeck. Young Fagan, Craig Fagan for this second half, as Steve Malbronk has it in the far corner, left foot cross towards Sava. Sahar's there as well. Is he going to pull the trigger of that left foot? Swings it to his right. Oh, lovely goal! The return of the Gallic goal machine. Louis Sahar pulls the trigger at the loft end. 3-0 Fulham. Birmingham surely out of the FA Cup.
Brett, the young Australian who's being out of place in his Premiership games. Now, here's Davis. Cross comes Southgate. Goal for Davis. Great finish, great run, and a wonderful pass. Excellent vision to deliver it. I thought he was just going to run out. I thought Southgate was across. I thought he was getting the tackle. But watch this, it's lovely play. Ball back, man running. It's a fantastic piece of football. Wonderful finish. You talk about composure. I've used it with Sava already. He needed it here. He doesn't thrash at this Martin. He just uses his strong side, his right foot. A little toe poke wide of the goalkeeper because he's close enough.
With his header to Barmorte, takes it on his chest and looking to worm his way through. Louis Barmorte feeds Steve Malbronk. Great chance for Fulham. Surely Malbronk, yes! Steve Malbronk on 58 minutes. Fulham in front. Good teasing wing play from Louis Barmorte to win it across goal, and Steve Malbronk, his first goal since October. At least in domestic football, has got in European football against Dynamo Zagreb, but how welcome was that goal from Steve Malbronk? At the moment they're swarming all over Charlton. Melville forward to Sava, looking to touch it into the path of Malbronk, and he succeeds. Malbronk forward to Steve Marley, touches it into the path of Louis Barmorte, who created the first goal. Goes down, surely referee, penalty! Fulham have a spot kick on 64 minutes. Steve Malbronk against Dean Kiley. France against Republic of Ireland. Fulham against Charlton. 2-0! Fulham have a foot in the 5th round. Bart Williams getting the better of Davis. Lofted clear by John Harley. Fortune looked all over Facundo Sava. Dangerous game to play with Sava lurking. Was he going to get the better of Fish? Facundo Sava brought down, penalty surely. Yep, second penalty of the game, and a red card for Mark Fish. And Steve Malbronk steps up for Fulham and scores! A hat-trick for Steve Malbronk, and how he deserves it. Steve Malbronk, his first Fulham hat-trick, the first Fulham hat-trick of this season, and Fulham are in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Around 500 or so hardy souls have made their way north to the final night game at this famous Main Road ground. And Fulham look to improve a fairly dismal away record that's mustered just one win away at Sunderland. Moving forward now in the shape of Louis Barmorte. Steve Malbronk to his left. There is Malbronk, cannons of Dunn. Malbronk, second bite of the cherry, and he makes the most of it. Fulham are 1-0 up. The perfect start for Jean Tigana's Fulham, and Steve Malbronk on the back of a hat-trick against Charlton Athletic in the FA Cup nets a vital early goal for the Whites. Puts back into the danger area. Living dangerously at the back, it's going to fall for Anelka. Scored against the Whites at Loftus Road and does so again at Main Road. Nice. For Manchester City is going to fall for Benabia. And the Sky Blues lead by 2-1. Fulham answering to deceive at the back this evening. Anelka turns provider. Confusion in the Fulham box. It's going to fall for Bowie. Calamitous defending from Fulham. Kevin Keegan delighted. Virtually his first touch of the ball, and this is turning into a rout.
Six goals and 2 FA Cup ties, both against Premiership opposition, is not bad form by anybody's standards, if only the league form had been so good. Thankfully, February was to offer the odd ray of light, but not at Highbury.
Home game earlier in this season, so I got signals from the bench that Boa Morty had a problem, so me and the physio are both up sort of trying to find out what the problem is, whether it's a medical thing or a kit thing. The word comes across that he just needs a new pair of shorts, so assuming that he's ripped them or the strings come out or something. Get around there, managed to find Boa just during a break in the play, just stands there, takes his shorts off, stands there in his pants, obviously in front of 15,000 people, he don't really care.
Try and look important, like you look like you know what you're doing.
So he managed to change his shorts, he threw the old pair off to me, managed to get the new pair onto him, put them on. Got back to the dugout, sat down, had a look at the shorts, trying to figure out what the problem was. Absolutely nothing wrong with the shorts at all. So after the game, just took Bo aside and said, you know, really what was the problem with the shorts? Apparently they just got a little bit dirty, done some sort of sliding tackle, and they've got a bit of dirt and sand in them.
Come on, boys.
So, true story, absolutely ridiculous. If you catch him, you can ask him as well. Hello, Mike.
Watch how easy he makes that look. It's really difficult, but watch how easy he makes it look.
They're great at sponsoring you, but getting the money back off it. Hello, Andrew. How are you today?
He's got him like that early.
Of course.
What's going on?
You got all the lyrics, haven't you?
Stand up early.
No, it's just embarrassment from people seeing me doing this. Yeah.
Wait, what questions are you asking him, mate?
Bet my favourite players, Melf. I haven't got to you yet. I haven't got to you yet. Shocking. Melf! And! Ridiculous little game. Yes, John. Another little game we play. Silly little game we play.
Keep coming, drop off.
This is the epicentre of your empire, isn't it?
My regime, if you like, yeah, as you were going to say. As long as the Americans don't come in and topple me, I'll be okay. So all these are just match boots. The players' match boots, anything up to 5 or 6 pairs for each player. 1 or 2 players, we just take 1 pair. Somebody, for instance, like Melv, has been wearing this pair for most of the season. Got 1 game left. I think they might just about make it through the season. Steed's boots have lasted him all season. He got a small cut on this one during the first game of the season against Bolton, and he somehow managed to hang on to these boots. Look, it's coming apart there, the dirt going inside. Absolutely rotten to the core, but we think they might just make it through a whole season. And then you've got the really posh boots. I'm sure you won't mind me showing these off. I'm not sure who these belong to. David Beckham, I'd imagine. Yeah, I don't know who they are. New player, Steve Marley, about to join us at some stage during the season. Can't wait till he joins us. Apparently he's going to score lots of goals for us. This is Zat's boots here. This is Oxford, and this is Cambridge.
Speak too much with the referee, man.
Cricket, man, did the Blues get?
None. 0. No goals. Not 1. Some standard at
5. They're pissing it.
Just 2?
Yeah.
2. Headed, Barry.
No. You. And...
Headed. Bessie, headed. Diving head, 2 goals. Just f***ing get on with it. Where are you going to score? Behind the stone. Behind the f***ing disc, look. Jesus. 5 goals, not behind there. You should play it, by the way, wouldn't you?
Louis Saha's tap shoes. They weigh next to nothing. What else is there to see, really? Little bits and pieces. I think this is a great player. This is an absolute legendary player, this guy. Fantastic guy. Big sponsorship deal with Adidas. He'll go far, this lad. He really will go far. Lunch, I suppose. Or I get a bit peckish. There's a story behind that. In the recent full time, all become apparent. Pretty much my toolbox for a match day.
There's a meeting for everyone. Listen up, listen. At 12:30 in the players' lounge, just to go through off-season stuff, so we don't have to keep you at another time.
That's what it is, off-season.
All right, 12:30. Everyone. The rest of you have a stretch here. Make sure you do have a stretch.
Yes, no problem, me. Come on, John. Just to win it, son. Just to win it, John. Come on, John. Just to win it, son. Come on. Yeah!
Bergkamp, now Henri. Wrong-footed Finnan, fed Pires!
ball from Davis. Out of the midfield morass, the space that Finnan had. Marley got a touch, and here's a shot from Mark Bronk, and what a shot! And Fulham are back on terms. Surprise, surprise, Steve Marbronk. Well, he's been scoring for fun in the last week, a hat-trick last weekend against Charlton in the FA Cup, a goal on Main Road in the defeat on Wednesday, and now a goal at Highbury for Marbronk, and beautifully struck as it dropped to him just inside the Arsenal box. Marley did enough in the air to keep the move alive, and Marbronk caught it beautifully. The player that Arsenal tried to buy when he was a teenager. Vieira. A bit of space for Van Bronckhorst, on towards Jeffers! Pires! And Fulham's brave resistance didn't quite hold out.
So, just a couple of minutes gone now. Long clearance from Taylor, but Villa pressing early on. Harley beaten to it. And Gareth Barry. Oh, after just a couple of minutes and Villa are ahead. Steve finding Louis Beaumonte down the left flank. Looks to cut inside. Oh, did Johnson get a touch? I think he did. He brought him down. Yes, it's a penalty. Louis Beaumonte twists one way then the other, cuts inside the box, and he was definitely brought down. Chance for Steve Marbronk to bring things back onto a level keel here. Yeah, there's confirmation if it's needed. Boa going at speed into the box and brought down. Now it's Marbronk. 1-1, absolutely unerring from the young Frenchman. Bundled over, and no mistake from Steed. Cross to the far post. Oh, comedy defending from Villa. Managed to get it away. There's John Harley closing on the ball. Oh my word! Oh my goodness, what a strike! The ex-Chelsea man has put Fulham in front. And what a goal! An absolute wonder goal. Out of nowhere. Must have been closer to 40 yards out than 35. Struck it so sweetly. Dipping, swerving. And I wonder who he's telling about that. I've just seen a great goal.
West hooks clear again towards Gareth Taylor. Moore was looking to pick it up, and dangerous bit of defending there, and the player's clear for Burnley, and he scored, and it's Alan Moore. Melville with the free kick just inside the Fulham half. Looking for Jaitu, glances it towards Louis Saha, but Cox is there for Burnley. Now Steve Marbronk with a decent chance, right foot chance. Oh, lovely goal! 7 in 5 now for Steve Marbronk, levelling for Fulham at the perfect time. Just a minute before the break. They've hardly deserved it, you have to say. Steve Marbronk crosses himself after another wonderful finish. Cox cleared as far as the young Frenchman on the edge of the box, and he chipped Beresford. Lovely goal. 7 goals in 5 games now for Steve Marbronk, 12 to his name in all competitions this season, and where would we be without him? One of the more promising young players at West Brom. Now in the international setup under Bertie Vogts for Scotland, as Marbronk plays it in the box. Saha's made a good run, and Louis Saha
has netted finally for Fulham. Louis Saha back amongst the goals. Excellent ball from Steve Malbronk, and there was Louis Saha finally to guide the ball past Holt with that braided head of his. And Fulham are in front. West Brom now with it all to do. The relegation trapdoor prizing ever more open for the Baggies as Steve Marley's on a good run here for Fulham, eventually brought down some 10 yards outside the Fulham box by Sean Gregan, the West Brom captain. This is going to be teed up nicely for Pierre Wome, who's going to try his luck with his left foot. Wome, oh my word! Lovely finish from Pierre Wome. Stunning first goal for the Fulham's Cameroon international. Absolute screamer from Pierre Wome. Blinding strike from the Fulham left back, called in by the absence of John Harley this evening, and bearing in mind John Harley's long distance shot against Aston Villa, Wome very nearly outdoing him there. Still on loan, of course, Pierre Wome from Bologna, as Junichi Inamoto takes it up for Fulham. Inamoto now clear, but just backtracks a tad, and West Brom able to get men back still with Inamoto. They gets the cross in towards Sava, and Louis Saha upended. Fulham have a penalty. Fouled in the box. Neil Clement, the culprit. Now, who's going to step up to take this? Steve Malbronk against Russell Holt. Right foot, 3-0. Magnificent second half showing by John Tigana's men. Curious celebration by Steve Malbronk. Three and three for Fulham. Breathtaking 3-minute spell from the boys in white shirts.
The referee's assistant looked fairly certain of it, but
here's Sava with the layoff to Steve Marley, and Boamorte comes through and scores! What a return to the first team for Luis Boamorte, who scores in the 15th minute for Fulham.
It's just a long ball into their area that you would expect them to deal with. Dean Richards didn't, and from then on, really Tottenham didn't get it together. And when Marley did well initially, unintentionally laying in Luis Boamorte, but he finished well. And he got one goal so far before this one, Boamorte. But I don't think that was going in, was it? A lot of good fortune in it for Fulham, but they'll take that. Well, Wadu and Knight, I'm not sure how many times they've played together, but it's a relatively new partnership.
Oh, and here's a chance for Simon Davis, and Taylor's taken him down. It is a penalty, and what will the card be here for Mike Taylor? It's another unhappy visit to White Hart Lane. He's sent off.
Davis does everything right. He's going to knock that into the net. Hard lines on Mike Taylor.
Martin Herrera's first task in English football will be to try and stop Teddy Sheringham scoring from the penalty spot. Sheringham scores. Spurs are level.
Moore, who probably preferred to play through the middle, but he's working the right-hand side, the system that Stan Turner has evolved. Just too far in front of Briscoe. Briscoe goes in again, and Taylor! Taylor beats Taylor. And Burnley from Division 1 lead Premiership Fulham. Mike Taylor comes out, and Ian Moore has made it 2-0. And it's all going swimmingly here at Turf Moor for Burnley. Maybe it's the curse of the ground for Fulham again. Down the years, they've lost so many times here. Competing with Wome for the left-back role for Fulham these days, with Rufus Brevitt surprisingly sold to West Ham. I'm afraid that will be a booking. Sean Davis and Lewinsky trying to be the peacemaker. Burnley absolutely incensed.
Well, it was a late tackle. He slides in, Martin, and he catches the player as he plays the ball away. I thought it was a booking. I wouldn't have argued with that. It's the one we've talked about them time and time again. We don't expect it to be more. It's red. I'm surprised. I'm telling you, I'm really surprised.
Goes from bad to worse for Fulham. And for the second time in 48 hours, they find themselves down to 10 men. Sean Davis sent off at Turf Moor.
First there were 5 competitions, but then there was just one. But with Premiership survival the priority, many saw the insalubrious FA Cup exit as a blessing in disguise. Having achieved maximum points against fellow strugglers Aston Villa and West Brom, Fulham went into March still chasing the elusive 41 points that everyone assumed would bring Premiership safety.
McCartney's first involvement is to be stripped by Saha. Finnan. Lewinsky. Stolches. Sorensen comes. Didn't get that. It's Louis Saha. Not much sign of a celebration from Saha. But he's netted his 5th goal of the season, attacking the ball with confidence. Knew he was going to get there before Sorensen, who gambled and didn't make it. Great ball in from Stolches, who's getting some joy down the right-hand side.
The best clearance, but it still falls well for Louis Saha, who's running full tilt at the Southampton defence now. Touched into the path of Wome by Jatu. Inside to Saha. Back to Harley. Wome again. Good cross towards Saha. It's going to fall for Malbronk, but just behind him, unfortunately. Takes on Prutten. Steve Malbronk clips it towards Louis Saha. Good shot, good goal! Lovely finish, Louis Saha. 2 in 2 for him. His 6th goal of the season, 4th in the Premier League, and Fulham ahead at the perfect time. Fantastic finish from Louis Saha, and Antti Naimi is finally beaten. Goma now for Fulham towards Malbronk. Malbronk and Fernandes tussling for it. Malbronk wins out. Forward to Saha. Louis Saha in a good position now in the box. Crossfield, and it's an own goal by Svensson. Fulham now 2 goals to the good. So hard to deal with in that kind of situation. It was the hard work of Steve Malbronk really that set up the chance. Cut inside, fed Louis Saha, who span round Lundekvan, and then his low cross straight into his own net by Svensson. Taking right foot, falls for Beattie, and Southampton are right back in this one now. Pinging around that box. Davis left foot shot blocked. Naimi up there. And it's going to fall for Michael Svensson, and Southampton are level.
But keeps waiting. Got to keep the move alive and find.
The 3-match run between the end of March and mid-April was to prove decisive for Tigana. Without the offer of a new contract, Tigana had lost the confidence of the players, and the results began to reflect it too. But by the end of April, it had all changed. The Fulham Football Club that Jean Tigana left was an entirely different place than the one he inherited 3 years ago. Brought in by Mohamed Al Fayed in summer 2000, Jean Tigana will always be remembered as the man who brought top-flight football to Fulham for the first time in over 3 decades.
Fabrice Fernandez.
Credit plays a load in the box, stop it! 5-0! Wonderful start!
Charges forward, takes the return from Steve Marley.
Davis! Oh, what a finish! Sean Davis secures the first division title for Fulham.
Steve Marley on the edge of the box. Oh, quality finish. Fulham lead through Louis Saha.
And Hales, the goal that Craven Cottage has waited 3 decades plus to see.
The Jean Tigana side secure another season of Premiership football in West London. And he finds Saha. Marley in support, but Barry goes alone. He's going to fall for Yanni Goldberg.
Cross is in support too. Flick cross, pull back. Touched by Dunn. Shot by Coleman off the bar. Still Blackburn. Flickcroft again. Dunn trying to get the flick on. Handball appeals and the penalty's given against Lee Clark. Clark looks mystified. Graham Paul is in no doubt. David Dunn with a little flick and it clearly struck the right hand of Clark. Paul was in just the right position. Dunn against Taylor. 1-0 Blackburn. Rolled in with confidence. Flickcroft. Duff. Still Damien Duff. He's been forced wide, but has David Dunn to help him out. And here is Dunn. Great ball from Duff. Dunn saw the challenge coming. Two guy goes for goal. Now it's Lucas Neal. Hakan Suker and Cole both want it. It is Hakan Suker, and still the Turk, and he scored his first Blackburn Rovers goal. And Graham Souness is as pleased as anyone. Nothing going Fulham's way. They will feel. Duff, good work from Cole. Now it's Duff, and Duff has found a way through Taylor to make it 3. Nice flick on the Cole. Hakan Suker takes it up again, and he waltzes through to score the 4th.
So free kick for Liverpool. Just about 10 minutes to play in this first half. It's only half cleared. Emil Heskey. Well, he was just level with the last man. He's put Liverpool ahead 1-0. No, it's Davis in midfield for Fulham. Oh, he's just muscled out a bit there by the Liverpool midfield. Oh, and Owens through. Now, was he offside? That looked doubtful.
Viana, left foot, and it's the head of Alan Shearer.
Newcastle lead. Fulham fall behind on 38 minutes.
Legwinski. Davis picks up possession high towards Boamorte and off the back of Griffin, who looks to foul, and he's going to be sent off here. It's the second bookable, and Andy Griffin walks for Newcastle United. Lee Clark inside to Legwinski. Still Sylvain Legwinski sets his sights from distance. Oh, what a goal! Sylvain Legwinski puts Fulham level. Fulham 1, Newcastle 1. Also played for in the last 20 minutes. And Sylvain Legwinski has pulled one out of the bag for the Whites. 1-1. Come on, you Whites. Chris Coleman's boys back on level terms with an outstanding strike from Sylvain Legwinski. Lee Clark played it inside. Sylvain Legwinski looked up and went for goal from some 25 yards, and it screamed past Given. 1-1. Long ball looking for Elvis Hammond, who gets ahead to it. Is it going to fall for Hales in the box? Lee Clark, oh, what a finish! Lee Clark, 2-1 Fulham with 5 to play against his hometown club. Is that the goal that saves Fulham from the drop? Wonderful stuff, they've turned it around. Fulham 2, Newcastle 1, come on you Whites! Oh, what a finish for Chris Coleman, and Lee Clark of all people against his hometown club. The Geordie boy puts Fulham ahead.
So, corner to Leeds, just about 4 minutes on the clock. Oh, Viduka! Oh, it's Mark Viduka again, yes, 2-0 to Leeds.
For Chelsea, becoming 5 inside the area for Zola's free kick. Oh, he's gone straight in! John Terry leads the celebrations. Steve Finnan. Legwinski. Desai has lost out to Boamorte. Hammond's in the middle. Still with Luis Boamorte. Oh, well finished! What a fine goal by Luis Boamorte! Nothing back to front about the way he finished that off. Outfoxed Desai, not once but twice, created the angle and then sizzled a left foot shot beyond the grasp of Cudicini. The West London derby is level. It's a game Chelsea need to win. It's a game that Fulham definitely needs something from. And Fulham will be far happier than Chelsea with a score of 1-1.
Sean Davis is making a run. From Sean Davis, and poor old Alan Stubbs lofts it into his own goal at the school end. Always such a troublesome bag of spanners for defenders to deal with, and he's been upended by Hibbert before him had a free kick. A fortunate one for once. Steve Malbronk with the Fulham free kick then. Drills it, goals has nearly slipped through, has it? And it's a goal! Steve Malbronk with his 14th of the season. And it's another fortunate one for Fulham. They're 2 goals to the good, 4 minutes from the break. Just creeping over Richard Wright's line. And Richard Wright was unable to deal with that in the near post, and that's blatantly over the line.
No score at the Valley. Sean Davis looking for Louis Saha, plays it long. Oh my word! think Kylie's just taken Louis Zaha out. And it's a red card for Kylie. And I don't think he's got any ground for complaints there. There was no discernible attempt to play the ball. Louis Zaha facing the ball, jumps for it, and well, the ball was nowhere near. Kylie just went straight through, and now it's Ben Roberts, substitute goalie, facing up Louis Zaha. 1-0. Cool, calm, and he's collected the goal. Jason Uri trying to get in, Alan Gomez steering him away, and well, it's another penalty. I mean, that left arm's out a little bit, but there's no way that's a penalty kick. So, Taylor facing Uri, and he saved it! Went down low to the right. Great save from Mark Taylor.
The victories over Newcastle, Everton and Charlton, along with the satisfying draw at Stamford Bridge, did enough to ensure that the tumultuous season had a happy ending. Chris Coleman and Steve Keane had kept the good ship Fulham afloat, just when it mattered, and Fulham had survived the unthinkable.
I'll have gone to the ground the day before, done a bit of preparation there, putting out some of the kit, some of the equipment. Mini-Me will pick me up in the van with the rest of the kit that we've packed the night before. Get to the ground, a home game anyway, for about 9:30. Takes us maybe an hour and a half to get everything together. Hello, Des. You okay? The opposing kit man coming in. Good boy. Pass it the drugs, yeah, from Morocco, please. Oh, it's not drugs from Morocco. It's an L. It's not yours, is it? If it's large. I don't believe that joke around the edge here, do you? Never believe that. By the time I've just about finished setting up my equipment and stuff, the opposing team's kitman's normally arriving. Once the players get there from about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I tend to get a little bit busier then with any little bits and pieces that the players want, whether it's studs need changing or just looking after them with kit and things like that. If all the preparation is done correctly before, there's very little to do on the actual day. A little motto I picked up from John Collins was fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
2 cups need washing and I'll have a cup of coffee.
Brown shoes, grey suits, fashion faux pas. Jerry's got it right, black grey.
I need to do a bit of sleeping on the floor.
Women in football, what place?
There's no place for women in football. Cooking, cleaning, ironing.
Brown shoes, grey suit, fashion faux pas.
Having babies, cooking, cleaning and ironing.
Thank you very much. Pink shirt.
Right, cheers.
20, Joseph Yobo. 26, Lee Carsley. 28, Tony Hibbert.
Been really hard, difficult season. Obviously at the start when we came back pre-season and my leg wasn't improving, so I pretty much thought, you know, I've got no chance of making it back to the first team level anyway. So, you know, then I had to like make the decision of retiring and then making a transformation into the coaching side of things, which is never easy, especially when I'm at the same club with all the lads that I've just been playing with in the same dressing room and everything. That's difficult. And what with, you know, we've had there's been a lot of uncertainty at the club, isn't there, this season? Was Jean Stein, was he leaving? And then, I think we've had a lot of bad press as well. So it's been difficult all season. And obviously Jean went, and they asked me to, take the reins until the end of the season. And if you like, it was a happy ending for me. From being involved with all the rubbish that was being said about the club, and we were at one point we were in a bit of trouble with the relegation battle, and then they put me in charge, and I was lucky enough to get some points, and I felt in a small way I was probably putting a little bit back into the club because they have been so good to me, really, and I've said that all along. So it was a happy ending, a happy ending of a really difficult, hard season. Jean was he looked after me, and he kept me on board, and then, like you say, pretty soon after I made the transformation as a coach, he had me in with the first team, which was great. It was a big compliment to me as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed travelling away with the first team again and being in the dugout and being amongst the dressing room, and I loved all that. At the start, he wanted me to work with the kids and do a month with every age level, which made a lot of sense, and but it was difficult as well, having been around men, for the last 15-20 years in the dressing room. Then I had to go and work with kids, and now under 10s and 11s, and you've got to be careful what you say with children, of course. The terminology has to be different, and I found that difficult. I thoroughly enjoyed working with the kids, but it wasn't something that I wanted to. I never thought that was going to be my niche. I always wanted to work with the first team. So the fact that Jean put me in there pretty quickly was a blessing for me. The record speaks for itself, doesn't it? He arrived, we took the first division by storm. It wasn't the fact that we won the championship. I think it was the football we were playing as well. The first year in the Premiership, he brought some good players to the club, and let's not forget how far we have come in a short space of time. I just think this season, with all the stuff that's been going on, I think a lot of people forgot, just how far that he brought us, and he done a tremendous job, and he's moved on now, and we've got to wish him all the best, and hopefully, in not too distant future, he'll be back involved in football. I'm sure he will, because he's still got a lot to offer. I think it's been mixed, really. We've still managed to play some good football. We've got some great results. We've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Newcastle at home. We've got a draw. We drew with United. We were unlucky against Arsenal, home and away. So we've had some terrific games. Like I said, we played in Europe, but that was a good experience. But next season, we've got to do it home and away if we don't want to be in the same position come March, April as we have been, in this campaign. If we go into Europe again, it'd be great. The fact that we're not in the Intertoto Cup this year, I think it's a bit of a blessing for the lads. I think they could do with the rest, especially after we've had so many games this season. I've enjoyed every minute of it, to be honest with you. Every minute. As soon as they said to me, look, you're going to be, we want you to take the reins until the end of the season. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, but once I arrived at the game for Newcastle, and the atmosphere and everything, and then I thought, oh, this is brilliant, and that's what I wanted to do. I wouldn't swap my experience for the last 2 or 3 weeks for anything. I've loved every minute. It's certainly the closest buzz that I got since I was a player, and I do it all again, of course. Yeah, fans have had a massive part in the fact that we've got the results we have got, and now we've saved. So yeah, massive thank you from me and the players and all the staff. They've been superb.
Would you be giving anybody a drink for that?
Will I be giving anybody a drink?
Yeah.
Like who?
Well, like people like me who are fans.
I'll buy you a drink, Robin, if you like. What do you like?
I'd like Cherryade, please.
Cherryade? You tart.